I'll wait a couple seconds here for people to join us. I'm glad we're not having any technical difficulties today. I'll wait one more minute and then I'll just get started with some of the information of the cost of getting lean. And then I'll do a little bit of a recap on the MedHost Weight Loss Challenge, any questions that we have there. Hopefully people will chime in. I was hoping to do this yesterday, but Facebook had a bug in it. I don't know if a lot of people were on Facebook yesterday or what, but obviously it got fixed today. All right, so we're just going to get started here. So we had a member of the Weight Loss Challenge get a hold of me. She messaged me on the app, just had a few questions, and I'm basically just going to give you a backstory on why I posted the cost of getting lean. I understand we're not focusing on weight loss specifically, or on leanness specifically. We're focusing on weight loss. Hey, Kendra, how are you? Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. But she reached out to me, and this is sort of the backstory, and this is why we're going to focus on this topic this evening. But this is what her message said. I'm about to the way where I hit a brick wall. It's very hard for me to get and stay below 122 and 125 pounds. So this person's probably already in their normal body mass index, probably okay leanness wise. It's technically a healthy weight, which I already assumed, but my body fat could be reduced, and I'd like to be about 117 pounds. So this is why we're going to do, that's why I uploaded that document to your guys' app. That's why I put that in the Facebook group. So you guys can understand what you might have to sacrifice to get you to that next step in body composition or even weight. How can I maintain that without feeling like I'm starving? I am very active, and that will never be the problem. But when I cut below 1,800 calories, I feel super hungry. I can't work out like I blah, blah, blah. Anyways, I'll just cut it off there. So going back to her original thing, she's about 122 pounds now, 123. So weight loss should not be her objection or her goal. She should be trying to lose body fat. So my suggestion on that is you got to really understand what you got to do consistently and what you might have to sacrifice moving forward to get you to that sort of next step. And that's why that handout is fantastic. We use Precision Nutrition for majority of our referencing for nutrition because it's habit-based. But basically, what she was getting away with, let's say maintaining at 130 pounds, if she wants to get that at 122 or below and wants to sustain that, it's probably going to cost her quite a bit. She's probably going to have to not celebrate Cinco de Mayo yesterday. She's probably going to have to be restrictive on Mother's Day coming up. And then in 2 weeks, we have Memorial Day. And those are probably the things she's going to have to give up to sort of get to that next step of body composition and also to maintain that weight. So I hope that makes sense. I'm not going to go through that whole handout because that would eat up like 15 to 20 minutes, but go through the handout, determine where you're sort of at. If you're in the unhealthy category above the, let me bring it up here. Let's say your body fat is above, let's say 20% for a male or greater than 30% for a female. You do want to start giving up some of those extra sweets, fatty foods, and you want to try to start working out a little bit more. And then if you want to get to a healthy body composition or weight, obviously you're going to have to do less drinking, being a little more physically active and things like that. But if you really want to get to that total leanness where they're talking like 23 to 25% for a female or 13 or 15% for a male, that's where that sacrifice is really going to start to kick in. And honestly, you need to make that decision if you want to, venture down that road, because, if you're not training for a competition or doing a sporting event like a marathon, please do not be living in a bubble like that. That's just, nobody cares, to be honest with you, if you have six-pack abs for, 10 months out of the year. Nobody really cares, honestly. What you need to figure out is what makes you happy and sort of figure out that plan and go from there. Don't be stressing over, carbohydrates during the, the holidays, with Christmas and Thanksgiving and stuff like that. Just remember, you should be eating healthy and training to live and not live to train and, eat healthy. So always think of this as supposed to be setting you up for longevity and things like that, and not so much for you to, obsess about what you're putting in your mouth 24/7. So now that we covered that, I want to jump into the MedHost challenge. And I'd like to thank everybody that has completed the weekly check-ins. Those are super important. It gives me instant feedback where you guys are at on the progress of the challenge. It allows me to know what you guys are struggling with. But honestly, you guys are falling right in line with the majority of all of our other corporate wellness challenges. So majority of people are losing between 1 to 2 pounds per week. We still have a couple people that are a little bit above, going 2 to 3 pounds per week. That's probably going to taper off the more weight you keep losing. But majority of everybody's about, it says less than 1 pound. Majority of people are losing somewhere in between there. And that's, honestly, that's how the thing's going to go moving forward, unless you're being super aggressive on your eating habits or sort of being unrealistic and not following the plan that I've given you guys. What is your total weight loss for the challenge? Majority of people have lost 4 or more pounds so far throughout the challenge. We do have a small selection that is less than 1 pound. So if you have not lost more than 1 pound in the challenge, it's less than 20% of participants. Please reach out to me, make a comment on here. That's what MedHost brought me in for, so you guys have access to professionals. So if you're not losing weight, make sure you're just tracking your calories to start off with there. Revisit day 1, establish that baseline of calories, and make that adjustment where you reduce it by 200 to 300 calories. What did you do well this past week? Everybody's doing pretty well with tracking their food, but they're struggling with staying below the recommended calorie intake. You got to get back to the basics if you want to continuously losing weight. So make sure you are doing that. Exercise 3 or more times. Everybody's doing that pretty well now, but that's bumping up. And then sleep doesn't seem to be an issue. This participant said they eliminated added sugars from beverages like tea and coffee. Now, I know that doesn't sound like much, but some of those coffees, even at home, if you go to Starbucks, you can reduce that by 200 calories per drink. Now, it doesn't sound like much, but if you're having that drink 3 or 4 times a week, you quantify that over a year, that's going to equate to several pounds throughout over the year, and dozens of pounds throughout a lifetime. So I always recommend never drinking your calories unless it's coming from like a dairy source, preferably like skim milk or reduced sugar fruit juices. And what was your biggest struggle this past week? This is where we get majority of our questions. Reducing screen time. I'm not sure if they're talking about computers or if they're talking about watching television, but honestly, if you're just sitting around and you need to watch, Game of Thrones, obviously is the big show out right now. There's no reason why you can't watch that live while walking on a treadmill or going to the YMCA or going to your gym, or downloading that onto your phone and just continuously walking while you watch it. That's honestly how I get my cardio minutes in. A movie that I've been wanting to watch, I actually pop it on, do my cardio for 45 to 60 minutes. I split it up in between machines every 20 to 30 minutes. And honestly, that's how I get my cardio minutes in. Traveling for work, that's always going to be tough. Professionals on the go are always going to be struggling to live a healthier lifestyle just because they're always out of their environment and it's always going to be unpredictable. So my best like I said before, if you know where you're going, research the restaurants, try and plan, prepare, and then act on what you plan and prepare. So if you planned on going out to dinner 2 nights a week, prepare for that, as in research those restaurants, and then stick to the game plan once you get there. So if you said, hey, the salmon was the best option, it's about 500 calories, go through with what you planned out and really act on it. Still struggling with veggies. This participant says they're still struggling with veggies. I'm getting them in, but it's a constant effort. Other habits have come more easily. This is the one I personally struggle with as well, is vegetables, and obviously getting a variety of them. I always look up dishes is the best way to get them in. I can't just sit there and just eat broccoli and cauliflower. I eat a lot of those, but I have to make them into certain dishes to get them in. Cauliflower is the most diverse vegetable. You can make that basically into anything. You can make them into burgers. You can make it into cauliflower rice. You can make them into noodles. Or not noodles, but you can also, hey Linda, how are you? But you can also make it into cauliflower mashed potatoes. That's what my wife and I made this last weekend. So be creative. So what I recommend is look up some of your favorite dishes and then look up vegetarian options for those dishes. And that's an easier way to get those vegetables in. I do recommend that you still get your lean protein sources in there. I always tell people the most optimal diet is being a vegetarian that still eats lean proteins. So got a few more questions here. My goal is to get to 145 pounds while preserving muscle mass. Currently working 3 days a week. I don't know if they're working out 3 days a week, with consistently 50 minutes of strength, 10 minutes of sprints. Any suggestions on how to tweak to achieve desired goal of 145 pounds? So this question comes up quite a bit about resistance training. Resistance training, if not set up in a circuit style form or into a metabolic circuit, it does not burn a lot of calories, unfortunately. If this is more of a CrossFit template, it might burn a little bit more calories, but you would really want to focus on cardio training. It just burns a lot more calories than resistance training does. That would be my suggestion. And then also, she's only doing 10 minutes of sprints. That's awesome, because if you're tight on time, you're getting a lot of activity in within those 10 minutes. But it's called LISS, which is low intensity steady state cardio. And basically what that is when you go into the gym and you do like 60 minutes of aerobic activity. Now that can be consisted of, you could go play basketball with friends. You can also do running on the track. Like I just used an example of watching your movie. I do something called multi-mode, where I do 20 minutes on the elliptical, 20 minutes running on the treadmill, 20 minutes of the Stairmaster, and 20 minutes on the cycle. So I break it up that way so it doesn't become monotonous. Or you can just stick to whatever you love doing and just do it straight out. That one burns the most calories, contrary to what you'll read on Yahoo articles and things like that. So don't let those fool you. So my suggestion, if you're still trying to really focus on your weight loss, get those extra cardio minutes in. That should be priority over your resistance training. If you want more of an optimal solution, you should be aiming for about 300 some minutes of exercise a week, with majority of those minutes coming from cardiovascular training, and then about 100 minutes coming from resistance training. That'd be enough to preserve lean muscle tissue. This person also asked, would intermittent fasting help to get the body fat percent down a few more notches? Which technique would you recommend? So intermittent fasting does not speed up your weight loss. It does not speed up fat loss. We've touched on this several different times. But if this is a method that you can sort of sustain and hold on to, then I recommend going with it. Typically, I recommend intermittent fasting for people that get up super early and they end their day really late. So basically, I'll use my Mondays, for example. I started at 4:30 this morning, and I'm still going. It's at 7:50 right now. I'm still going. If I would have jumped right out of bed and had my breakfast, I would have ate 500 calories basically, before it's even 6 a.m. What I recommend if you have long days is to always set a set point of when you will have your first meal. And that could be, 9 or 10 a.m. and that can help you control your calories through the rest of the day. What I don't want to do is for you to wake up, eat those 500 calories, and then at the end of the day, you're super hungry, and then you're reaching for whatever you can to eat. Always think of it as a bank account. You're making withdrawals every time you eat. Can you give helpful hints for healthy food choices when traveling, please? We are still working on this. This is taking me quite a bit of time. I've done a couple of different restaurants so far for people to make healthy food choices at either sit-down dinners, fast food restaurants, and also fast casuals. I've only gotten about 5 of the fast food restaurants done. It's a lot more work than what I anticipated, but honestly, all the stuff that I'm going to be recommending in there, I'm getting it off the restaurants' websites. I would recommend, like I've said before, is to plan, prepare, and act. Plan out what days you're traveling, look up what's available, prepare, what nights you're going to go out, and then act on that. So if you're going to pick the chicken sandwich from Chick-fil-A, and it's only a couple hundred calories, make sure that's what you follow through on, and don't steer away once you get there. Hey Jonathan, how you doing? Hey Andrea. So those are the questions that I received this week. The big thing is traveling for work. I know that's a struggle. I do too. I pack my lunch every single day. I put about 4 meals in there, and I try and pack things that are non-perishable, like pieces of fruit, and it's pretty disgusting, but I also eat like canned meats quite a bit. But that's what I can keep in a lunchbox, and I can pack it really in there. So the court is open. So if you guys have any questions, let me know right now, and I can start answering some. Do you have any questions, Kendra, Linda, Andrea, Jonathan? I'll give you a couple minutes for it to ping, because it usually takes a few minutes for me to see it. We touched on the cost of getting leanness. I'm going to be posting this. This will be obviously posted in the Facebook group, but I'm also going to be able to send it out through the app. I looked that up. So. Any questions? All right, I don't see anybody asking questions. How's everybody doing with the challenge in general? Are you guys, I know I get a lot of those check-ins. Is everybody losing weight? Is everybody on track? Give it one more minute here. All right, well, I'm going to jump off, seeing if you guys have any more questions. Once I post this, you guys feel free to still make comments underneath that. I'm going to aim for Sunday again. Hopefully there isn't an issue again with Facebook Live. They were a little buggy yesterday, so basically it was giving me a black screen. So I will talk to everybody then. All right, have a great week, and let me know if I can do anything to help out. Thanks.